Hey guys, and welcome to another one. Today we're going to be having a look at this exam objective. We're going to be having a look at different types of internet and different types of networks. So different ways of connecting to the internet and different types of networks. You are going to need to know all of this for your exam. In this video, I'm going to do what I usually do. I'm going to give you exactly what you need to know on all of this. I'm going to make sure you know absolutely everything you need to know in order to fly through your exam with what do they call it? Flying colors. You're going to be a rainbow shooting through that thing. You're going to have so many colors just flying out of anywhere they can possibly fly out of, because you are going to have every piece of knowledge you need to smash that exam. I'm then going to tell you exactly the kind of questions that they may actually ask you on that exam. And then finally, I'm going to give you some practice questions at the end of this to make sure that you are 100% ready to take the exam. You're actually ready. You've had some practice questions. You've got the knowledge. You know what kind of questions they're going to ask you. You've had to go at some practice questions, and you're going to be sweet. All right. So with that being said, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I'm going to stick my glasses on, and we're going to get straight to it. Let's go ahead and get started with internet connection types is what we're going to have a look at first. There's a wide variety of different internet connection types you need to be aware of, and we're going to take a look at every single one that you need to know for your exam objective. Let's go, starting all the way over here with the first one, which is satellite. So guys, look, I'm not going to read through all these notes. I am going to talk you through exactly what you need to know though. And I think honestly, this beautiful little doodle that I have drawn over here is a pretty good summary, right? Satellite internet connection. You are out somewhere that doesn't necessarily have access to standard cables. Maybe there's lots of trees around, right? This is my attempt at a tree. You're surrounded by trees and you just can't get cables in here. Or maybe you are out on the ocean, right? You're out on the ocean and you've got a little boat. This is your boat right here. Call it the Journey to Saba boat, sailing away into the distance, and you can't actually get a cable to the boat. So what do you need to do? Well, you need to do exactly what this guy's doing right here, and you need to make sure that you have a satellite internet connection for these remote areas. So what he's doing is he has a satellite over here, which is actually, sorry, not a satellite. He has a dish over here, which is beaming all the way up to a satellite in space. Thank you, Elon Musk. And that is providing your internet connection. So that satellite beams down, connects to the dish, which then redirects that to your device. And for your exam, right, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's in the name, isn't it? Satellite. It's pretty simple. For your exam, what you need to know is when you would actually use this, right? So that's where we come over and actually start to have a look at the notes that are here. So when would you use this? Rural and remote areas that don't have access to those standard internet types. So as it says here, right? Rural and remote areas that don't have access to DSL, fiber, or cable connections, right? For some reason, you just can't get in there and you need this satellite access. Maritime and aviation, so boats and planes, right? You can't really get a category 6 cable onto a boat, can you? But you can connect to satellite, absolutely. So these are the kinds of places where you might want to think about using satellite. There are some things you need to think about as well. You can have a read of the other ones, but you do need to take into consideration this here. Performance can vary with weather conditions. Think about it, guys. You're connecting to satellites, which means if you happen to have a little cloud here and it starts raining, not only might you start to feel like you want to lie in bed all day, your internet might want to do that as well, because that weather is going to get in the way. So it is weather dependent. That is important, right? That is important to take into consideration for your exam, okay? And then you've just got some different pictures over here, different kind of dishes and satellites, but you get the picture. Right, you get the picture. Satellite internet uses satellites. It's dependent on the weather, and you want to use it in these rural areas, rural or on boats, places that are difficult to get to. All right, things like that. Hopefully you got that. The next one you need to know about is fiber. Okay, fiber is essentially really, really high speed. So you've got these wires, and inside are these strands that transport the data through lasers. All right, you're transporting data through lasers. This is called fiber optic. Now, there are a couple of things that really make fiber stand out from your other types of internet connections, and one of the biggest ones is, as it says here, blazing speeds, right? It is so fast, and it can also go really, really long distances with quite impressive speeds as well. Really fast at long distances, which comes into that low latency, and it has symmetric speed, so same upload and download speed, right? Which is not the case for all of them, as we will start to see. So you can have this in your home, you can have this in a business, you can have this in healthcare and education, and absolutely in data centers. However, generally, it's quite expensive, right? Because it has quite a high cost, right? This is a really high technology type of internet connection. So if you're going to see this, generally it's going to be somewhere that has that kind of money to throw around. Okay, you can get it to your home, but it is the most expensive option. And that's the kind of thing for your exam you'll need to be able to toss up. Which internet connection method do I want to use, or should I recommend to this person on my exam based on their requirements? So if they're saying, I don't care about my budget, I just want the fastest, absolutely fiber is going to be the go. But if they're saying, hey, I don't really want to spend too much money, you're probably going to want to steer away from fiber. That's what you're going to want to have to think about. We'll get more into fiber specifically in the cables and how they work later on. But for now, we're going to move on to cable internet. Basically, long story short, right? We'll come back to the notes in a second, but cable internet uses your previously existing television connections in order to connect to the internet. It uses previously existing cable television infrastructure to connect to the internet, hence the name cable. When you see the word cable, you know they're talking about internet. So just think in your mind, cable equals TV, okay? That is television. And they use a connector. We'll talk more about this later, but just so it's starting to turn in your mind, cable internet connections use this connector, which is called an F-type connector. Okay, we would keep that in your mind. We'll come into it in more detail later. But cable uses an F-type connector over a coaxial cable. Okay, so look, as we've said, I'll get my little small one here. As we've said, guys, cable internet uses previously existing television infrastructure. All right, so television infrastructure, and it uses something called DOCSIS, or Data Over Cable Service Interface Specification. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you see the word DOCSIS, if you see the term DOCSIS, you know you're talking about cable. All right, that's going to be a dead giveaway. You're talking about cable internet if you see DOCSIS. Now, it's not as fast as fiber. Okay, you've got pretty high speed connectivity, ranging from 50 megabits per second to over 1 gigabit per second, depending on the provider and the plan. So it's going to vary, it's going to fluctuate. It's relatively good speeds for your general consumer, right? It's kind of like a middle ground option, right? Between fiber, cable, and the next one we're going to look at, which is DSL. This is a good middle ground option. It's very common in homes, small businesses, and things to that effect, right? If you don't need these super fast blazing speeds of fiber, you don't have that money to throw around, cable is going to be a good option. Just remember, really, cable equals television infrastructure that's already there. All right, next one is going to be DSL. Now this is one, it stands for Digital Subscriber Line. And when you see this term DSL, I want you to think immediately of telephones, because just like cable uses previously existing television connections, DSL uses previously existing phone connections. Okay, it's using your previously existing phone infrastructure. All right, so some more details about this is you're going to be using a DSL modem, of course. So if you see DSL modem, you're going to know it's using previously existing telephone infrastructure to have a DSL connection. Your speed, now here's where we start to notice a bit of a difference, right? Your speed's typically ranging from 1 megabit per second to 100 megabits per second, much slower than cable and much slower than fiber, right? So we can start to get an idea now that maybe this is going to be one of the lower cost options, but also the lower speed option. So when you're trying to toss up cost versus speed, what that person might be looking for, we can start to see, all right, low speed, low cost, whereas cable, as we spoke about, might be in the middle, and fiber is going to be very expensive, very high speed. All right. Now, if you see in your exam that it mentions, maybe it might be asking you to recommend a particular type of internet connectivity for this person, and it mentions previously existing telephone lines, that might be trying to point you towards the direction of DSL. So that's pretty much the main thing. All right. Different types. Some DSL has asymmetric upload and download speeds, meaning that the download is faster than the upload speed, but there are some that are symmetric as well. So just keep that in mind. But look, at the end of the day, It's low cost, but it's also one of the lowest speed ones. That's pretty much what you need to know. You'll need to be able to recommend a particular type of internet connection to someone based on their requirements. So that is what you'll need to do for your exam. The next one is cellular. Guys, this one's pretty straightforward. You're using cell towers. You're using cellular data to connect to the network. All right, so generally you'll be using 4G or 5G to connect to the network. Same way your phone works. You're using data from cell towers. You're using data over the cellular network to connect, right? So you might want to do that if you don't have access to any wireless internet, for example. Maybe you've gone for a walk somewhere, there's no Wi-Fi to connect to, you don't have a pre-existing setup, and you just need to access the network. In that case, you'd use the cellular data network. Generally, you wouldn't want to do it like long term. It's just if you're out somewhere, you don't have access to Wi-Fi, right? I'm sure you've used cellular data before. You do have wireless mobility, meaning you can pretty much go anywhere. You can use this so long as you have cell phone service. The speeds, there have been some advancements. So 4G speeds offer speeds up to 100 megabits per second, whilst 5G can reach speeds exceeding 1 gigabit per second, which is pretty fast, guys, pretty fast. So you'll use that if you don't have access to Wi-Fi, but generally you wouldn't have that as a permanent solution for the most part. And again, maybe rural Internet of Things devices, like your smartphone or your cell phone. Smartwatches generally would use cellular data because you might go for a run with a smartphone. You won't have access to Wi-Fi, right? Basically, no access to Wi-Fi. You want to access data on your phone or a smartwatch. You'll probably use cellular data. That's about it. Okay, the last one is wireless internet service provider, or a WISP. You need to know that term, WISP, wireless internet service provider. Now, a WISP, or wireless internet service provider, delivers internet access wirelessly using radio signals instead of traditional wired infrastructure like fiber or cable. So it's pretty much that, you'd have this cell tower here, maybe you have a couple of houses out here, and instead of trying to wire them up and have them all connected to the internet, you're just wirelessly transmitting those radio signals to deliver a internet connection to those houses, right? So this is going to be kind of similar in that it's going to be largely for remote and rural areas, right? If you can't really get that traditional infrastructure in, generally it's not like a super long-term solution. Generally, like temporary connectivity, you can set it up, you can take it down, that kind of thing. You're not going to really want to opt for this if you have access to any of the other options that we have been talking about, generally speaking, all right? Maybe if you're trying to set up a town and in the meantime you need something, or like it says here, construction sites or disaster recovery, things to that effect. But generally, it wouldn't be like your go-to. But just know that it has a tower wirelessly transmitting that internet to devices or people or houses, generally speaking, temporarily, in order to give them access to the internet. Now, that is all of your different types of internet connection types. So just again, you need to be able to make a recommendation on what someone might want to use based on their requirements. Think about their cost, think about the speed, think about what infrastructure they have access to. Do they have access to telephone lines, television lines? Do they have no budget and want the highest speeds? Things like that, right? Are they in the middle of the ocean, right? Based on those kinds of variables, you should be able to think about what you should be recommending to them. Okay, let's go to our network types. Guys, we're going to fly through this one. There's a bunch of different network types, and the first one is a LAN, or local area network, all right? So basically, guys, that is everything that is in your home, right? You've got a home. It's everything that's on that one network. So for example's sake, you've got and I know we've talked about this before, so I shouldn't need to go too in depth with it, but you've got your house, and your house might have a bunch of devices in it, and then you've got your router here. Your local area network is everything on this side of the router, right? So your router is connecting all of your devices inside your house, and then those devices to connect to the internet or send something out of your network will go this way out through your router, all right? So everything out here is the outside internet, but everything that is connected on this side of your router, all of this is on your local area network. So a simple way of thinking of it is it's pretty much everything in your house or everything in your office that is connected to that router, everything on that side of the router, all right? not out there in the world, it's on that side of the router. So your laptop, your television, your phone, when you go in your house and connect to your personal Wi-Fi connection, they're all on your local area network or your LAN. It's a good way of thinking of it. All right. Next one is wide area network. So a simple way of thinking about that is just like I said, everything on your house side of the router is your local area network, right? This outside internet out here is actually the opposite. That is the wide area network. That is a WAN. Now, that's basically just, if we go ahead and have a look at the notes, it's just a wide area network, right? It's a network that is a large network that spans a vast geographical area. In essence, that's basically describing the internet. Okay? The internet is a one big giant wide area network that spans the entire world. So a simple way of thinking of it is everything outside of your LAN on that side that's out there that you are not actually accessing at the moment is like the WAN. All right. So in this case, let's have a look at this image. You might have your house here with all of your devices, your house or your office on that side. That's the LAN. And then you have your router here. These devices have to go through your router to go out into the WAN, right? So the big wide world of the internet out there, that's the WAN, okay? Then we've got personal area network. We've talked about this a lot when it comes to Bluetooth. So personal area network is basically just that network that is a small network designed for the communication of devices within an individual's personal space. Think Bluetooth, guys. We know Bluetooth creates a personal area network. You're talking about your wireless headphones like this person has here. We're talking about your wireless mouse, your earphones, when you connect your laptop to a wireless keyboard. All of that is in your personal area network. When you connect to your car via Bluetooth, personal area network, absolutely. So that one's pretty simple. That one's pretty straightforward. All right. Next one is a MAN, Metropolitan Area Network. Now this one, as it says here, is a type of network that spans a city, town, or large campus, providing connectivity across a broader area than a LAN, but a smaller area than a WAN. So a good way of thinking of this, particularly for your exam, is, let's say, I just did a Google search for MAN. So let's say here, this is a good one here. Let's say you've got this building and this building and this building and this building and this building, and they're all actually part of the same company. They all want to connect to each other. They don't want to have to go over the layman's internet, everyone else's internet. No, they want to connect directly to each other to have a super high speed connection to each other. What they can do is actually set up a MAN, right? So this right here is basically all of these buildings have set up their own internet connection to each other. Generally, it's probably going to be fiber because they're going to want really high speed, and because if you're a company with a bunch of different buildings across the same city, you're probably going to have the kind of money to spend on fiber as well, particularly if you want high speed connection to your own buildings that badly. So think about multiple buildings in a campus spanned across a wide area, probably going to be a MAN, Metropolitan Area Network. Multiple buildings belonging to the same company across the one city, all connected to each other through a high-speed internet connection, usually fiber, that would be a MAN, okay? Keep that in mind. That is what a MAN is. So you can pause and read those notes if you want, but that's pretty much it. Now, next one, storage area network. This is, as stated here, it is a specialized high-speed network that provides access to consolidated storage drives, enabling multiple servers to connect to and share the same storage resources. So it's basically a network for the purpose of storage, is an easy way to understand it, right? Super easy way to understand it. Now, it's designed to be very high speed, and it's designed for rapid data transfer between servers and storage devices. Centralized storage, right? You can have a centralized storage server, and you can have a SAN set up there so that you can consolidate your storage into a single accessible network, improving efficiency, right? So think about your data centers, think about cloud and virtualization, think about high performance applications, because they can, if they're a financial system or a video editing, they can quickly access large amounts of data on your SAN, your storage area network. SAN is storage area network, all right? And you got some kind of visual examples. I did a quick Google image search there. Some visual examples, right? Got all this storage is here waiting for you, and you're just connecting to that over a network. That's basically what it is. So in your A+ exam, that would be like you'd have to read the question and it might say, what kind of network is this? And if it talks about a network for the purpose of storage, it's a SAN, storage area network. All right. And finally, the last one is your wireless local area network, or your WLAN, which is literally a LAN, the first one we talked about, but wireless. So it's just any Wi-Fi, essentially, that is on a local area network. That's a WAN. So if you walk into your home and you log onto your Wi-Fi, congratulations, you just logged into your WLAN. So same thing as this, same thing as a LAN that we talked about already, but wireless specifically, okay? Just specifically wireless LAN. All right, now let's go ahead and have a look at some of our questions that we have here. I'm going to read through the questions, and then I'm going to tell you what the answer is, and we'll just go ahead and skip through. Okay, so the first question reads, Summit Hospital, located in a bustling urban center, is planning to upgrade its internet connection to support advanced telemedicine applications, real-time digital imaging transfers, and high-volume data exchange with remote specialists. The facility requires an internet service that provides ultra-high-speed performance, low latency, high reliability, and symmetric upload and download capabilities, ensuring that even during peak traffic times, critical medical data is transmitted seamlessly. Which of the following best meets their needs? A, satellite. B, fiber optic. C, DSL. Or D, cable. Pause the video and take some time if you need it. I'm going to get straight to the answer. 3, 2, 1. The answer is fiber optic, all right? They want those really, really high speeds. Think about everything they said. High speed is absolutely going to be fiber optic, and there was no mention of trying to be budget friendly. It was all about getting the fastest speed possible, the least amount of latency possible, because these transfers of data are very, very important. Satellite is weather dependent, right? Which means it's not always going to be reliable, and generally not even as fast as fiber optic as well. Fiber optic kills it in terms of speed. Satellite is generally reserved for those hard to reach spaces, all right? Boats, planes, places where you can't have traditional infrastructure, okay? DSL is one of the slowest options, and it relies on previously existing telephone connections. Cable relies on previously existing television connections and is like a good middleman, right? But these guys, if you read the question, they said they need ultra high speed performance, low latency, high reliability, and symmetric upload and download capabilities. They're pretty much describing fiber right there, the fastest, and they don't have any issues with the budget. All right, next question reads, Maple Legal, a boutique law firm in a suburban area, needs a cost-effective and reliable internet connection. Their daily requirements include sending emails, managing documents, and occasional video conferencing activities that do not require ultra-high speeds. Given that Maple Legal is located near a telephone exchange with widespread telephone line infrastructure, which internet connection method is most appropriate for them? A, satellite. B, fiber optic. C, DSL. Or D, cable. Pause the video if you need more time. I'm going to jump straight to the answer in 3, 2, 1. Now, the answer is DSL. They explicitly mentioned they don't really need any high-speed related activities. They don't have any activities at a high speed that they intend to do, and they have a lot of previously existing telephone line infrastructure. That should have been the giveaway for DSL. Okay, that should have been the giveaway. Next question reads, Metrolink City has initiated an ambitious project to interconnect all public services across the metropolitan area. This initiative connects public libraries, municipal offices, transportation systems, and even public safety departments using a high-speed integrated network. The network infrastructure spans from the dense downtown core to the suburban neighborhoods, ensuring seamless data exchange across the city. Based on the geographic scope and connectivity described, which type of network is Metrolink City's project best classified as? A, LAN. B, WAN. C, PAN. Or D, MAN. Pause the video. Take a second if you need it. We're going to go ahead in 3, 2, 1. It is D, MAN. And the reason was, guys, they're basically connecting multiple of the same business or companies, buildings / projects together across a wide city network. So that is basically the definition of a metropolitan area network, connecting all of the same company or business or buildings together over one high-speed network dedicated for that particular purpose. Metropolitan area network in a nutshell. All right. Next question reads, David is an avid fitness enthusiast who relies on technology to track his daily activities. He wears a smartwatch that monitors his heart rate and steps, uses wireless earbuds for music, and keeps his smartphone at hand for notifications. All these devices communicate with each other over a short-range wireless protocol. What network is he using? A. LAN. B. SAN. C. PAN. Or D. WLAN. Pause the video if you need it. Your answer coming in 3, 2, 1. The answer is PAN. As a personal area network, right? He said he's connecting all of his personal devices, his monitors, his smartwatch, etc., all within that short range on a wireless protocol. That is a personal area network. That sounds like Bluetooth to me, which is a PAN. All right. So, guys, with that being said, if you want to go ahead and grab a free practice exam, you can do that in the link in the description or in the pinned comment. In this free practice exam, you pretty much have 3 performance-based questions, 90 multiple choice questions, and if you want a little bit more than that, you can grab the full learning guide over at journeytocyber.com. I have a couple of exciting things waiting over there for you. I've got a learning guide which breaks everything down by exam objective. I've got 3 full-length practice exams with performance-based questions and 90 multiple choice questions each. I've got an interactive troubleshooting performance-based question simulation for a question for every one of the troubleshooting exam objectives, and a spreadsheet to track your progress, and I tell you exactly how to study. All right, so it says your notes definitely helped me pass my exam today, from this guy over on YouTube after he bought my older version. This one's way better than that, so if he succeeded with this, you should succeed with this new one here. So in this, you get what you see here, right? It's all broken down by exam objective. You've got 1.1, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if we come over here, you don't just have it by the exam objective in total, you also have it broken down into individual dot points. Okay, so for all of this, super organized. For all of this, you also get your 11 performance-based questions as well in total there, which is pretty cool. And you get multiple choice questions here for every one of these exam objectives. You get answers for every one of these exam objectives. You get 11 performance-based questions in total. You get a video telling you how to 10 times your learning with free AI tools, so that can help you really close those knowledge gaps that you have if you identify a weak area. And you get another video where I show you exactly how to use multiple choice questions to study, because most people just don't know how to do it. Most people try to do it and they do it wrong, and then they end up failing their exam because they didn't do it right. Right, so I really have packed a load of information in there for you. Look at me, look at that face. He's just waiting for you to go in and grab it. Okay, so that is over at journeytocyber.com, and this is the troubleshooting performance-based questions. So you can click on each of these. When you click on one, you might, this is the troubleshooting one. You can click on each of these people and they'll all have a problem for you to solve. You can solve issues relating to different types of printers. So that's over at journeytocyber.com. Otherwise, guys, I will see you in the next exam objective. Can't wait to hear about how you are passing this thing. I can't wait to hear that you watched my videos and then you went in there and smashed that thing and passed it. All right. Thanks, guys. See you later. Good luck.